See, I ain't got that much time left. I give you my all and all you give me is your wasted kiss. What I'ma do with it? I think it's best if I move to the left. Cause I know there's somebody waiting on all this love I gotta give. How we doing, love? How are you today? When you gonna love me? Cause I'm tired of waiting patiently, baby. I don't know why I love this song so much. When you gonna love me? And if you ain't gonna love me like I am, we're working hard. Listen, that's all we can do. We have to work hard. I'm doing okay. I'm a little under the weather. But, you know, during this time of the season, I also think my allergies that used to come in August have been pushed back because of change of temperature. So, I'm okay. But other than that, I'm fine. Just getting things together, working hard. Trying to make sure I get these mentor programs in place and doing what I can do for the kids, doing what I can for the adults I work with, as well as taking time to myself, something I don't forfeit any longer. I make sure that I spend time on me, spend time with family, and then work hard when I'm working. But thank you for asking. How are you? How much did we cook today? How many dishes did you bring for work? Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. I try to do what I can. Working for yourself is different, but it's freeing. And I'm at the point where, let me turn this down some. If you don't, one more time. If you ain't gonna love me like tell me. The hell am I gonna do with it? That's what I'm talking. I love this, the lyric to that song as well. But yeah, I only did desserts today. Okay. No, I do what I can for the young folks, and I've been doing the mentor programs for a couple of years now. I started in New York in 2010, and then I took a break when I moved to Delaware in 2016, and I started back in 2019. But you know, they're needed because our kids need a voice. Our kids need someone to talk to, especially with the young men that I work with. But this is the first year I'm working with young ladies. So my young queens, this one is new. And so with my young queens, it's different. But the one thing that I realized, I guess, in dealing with my daughter is how much our young ladies need the attention from a male role model. But I do have assistants this year. I hired a couple of assistants to work with me. And they're two outstanding young ladies, by the way. And so they help me with the young ladies as well as the young men, because this year I have elementary age children. And I'm not going to lie, my program was based on high school age kids, high school and middle school age kids. So to actually have the elementary kids, it's different. But like I said, because I have an elementary age daughter, I'm kind of in that mode. So, but it's interesting. I had to hire two assistants because I'm older. So when we take them to the gym to let them, you know, move around a little bit, because you're not keeping elementary kids in that discussion mode for the hour and a half that they're with me now. We're not doing that. But we're working on the social emotional piece, giving them the safe space to be able to have discussion. We're working on behaviors. We're working on critical thinking, and giving the kids an opportunity to express themselves. Great. That was a time when I started with my mental health problems. You know, is that Latanya? That is a great point, because a lot of the adults that I counsel, when we track the past, and I have discussions about their past, they explain to me how they were raised and stuff. Many of our problems started when we were younger, fostered sometimes by our parents or not captured and dealt with by our parents. So either way, many of our issues that we deal with were triggered from when we were young, sometimes from some very negative and nasty things that have happened. So what I try to do, simply because I've have education. I was a 22-year educator. So the fact that I was in the classroom, I know how to reach a lot of our children. And when giving them that opportunity to have that conversation, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for the love from Mississippi. Well, let me just reset the table real quick. How would you introduce your friendly family partner to meet therapy? I'm going to grab that question in 1 second, Sunshine or Rain. First, allow me to introduce myself. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, professional counselor. I am a former educator, author, and speaker. I also own and run 2 mentor programs, the Young Kings, Young Queens, this year working with elementary kids. I am also an author of 6 or 7 books. I've also been a part of 7 or 8 anthologies. And so what I do is to try to help people who are in crisis, people who have problems, and I am a problem solver, a professional problem solver. And every Friday, I will be coming on. I used to be on another site, but I didn't like the censorship, so I will start trying. Thank you so much for the gifts. I will start trying to, I'm going to be here every Friday, 11:30, and I will answer your questions and go engage in conversation with you while I'm here. Now, let's get to one of the questions that I had. And thank you so much for the love from Mississippi. And by the way, let me know where you're watching me from. I would love to interact with you that way as well. So we see someone's from Mississippi. I know Sunshine or Rain is from South Carolina. But if you're watching, let me know where you're seeing me from. All right. So your question, Sunshine or Rain, how would you introduce to your friend, family, or partner that they may need therapy? Well, one of the ways that you can sit down is have a casual conversation and say, listen, I know you've been going through some things and I don't have the skills to help you, but I think you should really seek talking to someone professionally, because I think it would be a great way for you to be able to, from Alabama, thank you, a great way for you to be able to get the help that you need, get them to connect with the fact that you see something's wrong. You're a friend, you're a family member. If there's somebody that you care about, explain to them what you see. Regurgitate to them what they've said to you if they're struggling with something, and say, but I don't have the answers to help you. Why don't we always try to offer assistance where you can? Why don't we find someone that could help? Or even offer, say, hey, listen, if I could find you somebody who would be willing to talk with you, would you be willing to talk with them? Maybe you do the legwork for them. I don't care how you do it. If you know the person needs help, get them help, because we suffer in silence too often. I have a hashtag that says, bring your pain to me. I ask people, bring me what's wrong. I can't help what I don't know. I can't help what I don't hear. And I try to be as inviting as I can. I try to be as transparent as I can, with the hope that it latches on to someone who says, you know what, I want to share with him what's going on with me. So I even wrote a book called From Gigolo to Jesus. So I put my own dirt out there, all of it. All of the stuff with the babies, my ex-wife and the marriage. And I don't do my ex-wife dirty. That's nothing I don't believe in. So any men that might come across this, that's not something I believe in. Never tear down the person that you were in a previous relationship with. I don't care how negative it was. Tell the truth. Your truth is your truth. But don't tear a person down. Like I tell people all the time, my ex-wife and I shouldn't have been married. We got married for all the wrong reasons. I was not a good husband. But we had 2 kids. And so because we had 2 kids, we had to find a way to take care of our sons, but we really should not have been together. And then when I talk about the ending of life, I have to be careful how I say things on this app. I don't want to get banned again. When we talked about the ending of life, and I had made those choices with other women before, but when we went through that, my callousness, my unconcern was an issue. And when I look back on it now, I understand why my ex-wife didn't like me, because I didn't like who I was. But I can't fix her simply because I was the cause of the pain. That's another thing that I share with men as well. Just because you got your life together, you are not the person that's going to help her get her life together. All you could do is apologize and get out the way. Apologize and get out the way and allow her to get the help that she needs from somebody else. Applaud her if she gets the help. Applaud her if y'all are able to have a mutual, respectful relationship. But you can't be the one to fix her simply because y'all may not be moving at the same pace anymore. And especially if y'all are not together. If y'all are trying to get back together, that's a different story, because then y'all could heal at the same time. But if you're separate, apologize, move on. Apologize and let that woman find the healing that she needs. And that's one of the things that I do in my counseling sessions. I work mostly with women between the ages of 35 and 70, mostly. And I simply try to bring a man's perspective to the table to try to offer some understanding of why men do the things that they do, as well as healing. It's actually my form of ministry. It's the way that I give back for the way that I live my life for 37 years. The last 18 has been spent trying to help and serve, but the first 37, I was out of control. And I freely admit that because that's how I try to get other people to come to the table. If I put my dirt on the table, then the hope is that other people will follow suit and try to find help. So as you're watching, thank you from wherever you're watching from. I see Alabama and I see people popping in and out. But I'm here. Ask any questions. Hello, hello. Hi, honey. So if you have any questions, feel free. I'm here for it. Or if you're just checking in, say hello. Even if you're just passing by, if you just happen to see me on your page and go, hey, that's the guy that's never on. I really am not. I don't go live during the week. I don't like wasting time. And I only come on if I have something to talk about. And I was doing a weekly show over on FB, but they were giving me a series of different, I was put in jail for stuff that didn't make sense to me. So I had a 30-day ban, so I wasn't able to go live. So I decided, you know what, I'm done. I'll come over here. So I normally would go live every Friday. And I would go live there and on YouTube. But now I'm here and I'll transfer the video over to YouTube. So if you miss me or you got to go to work or whatever the situation is, you can always go to YouTube and watch this video and all my previous videos. But I'm here for you. Ask any questions. I am here. Fire away. Hello, hello, hello. Appreciate you. And you guys that are coming in, pleasure to have you here. Please share with me where you're watching me from. I would love to know. And again, the floor is open. You can ask any question that you like. I would love to have that conversation. So by all means, share with me. Fire any question that you want. I'm not scared to answer. And again, if you're just tuning in, I am Keith K. Austin, Texas. Nice. Being transparent. Oh, yes. Let me tell you something, sunshine. Being transparent is the best way to make anyone comfortable. I was that way with my students. I'm that way in my professional relationships. I'm that way with anybody. South Carolina, yes. Okay, we have another person from South Carolina. Nice. Because I am going to be who I am. I think for so many years, because of the lies that I was telling as a man when I was dating, I had forgot who I was because I was becoming whatever I needed to become to get past a woman's defenses. And that was the superpower that I used the wrong way. Let me just say that. My ability to speak, I used for all the wrong reasons to get what I wanted. The last 18 years, I used my ability to speak to serve God and to try to fix and heal people who have been hurt by men like me. I don't have regrets because I can't go back and fix it. What I have is motivation. My motivation is to, one, never go back. Two, to help people who are suffering from the type of pain that I caused. And I caused a lot. And the only way I can get people to understand that is by being transparent. And the way I help men is I hold a mirror up for them to make them see exactly the damage that they do or the damage that has been done to them. And I help brothers out. I don't bash the brothers. No. I just hold brothers accountable to themselves, and then I help fix them. I think too often we point fingers at men about what they do, why they do it, and their mindsets, but we don't actually say, well, how can I help heal you? How can I help address what caused you to act that way? And then how do we sustain that so you go forward and not fall back? So that's another thing that I do. And again, thank you guys for watching. Please share this out. Let some other people know. Come by. I'm here for you. And again, don't be scared. Come on. Reach out. Ask me any question that you want. For some reason, your audio isn't matching up with your video. Okay, so then I might need to log out and come back in. Let's try that. So give me, let me see, because I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. Let me see if I can log out. Is everybody else having that same problem that my audio is not matching the video? I don't want to end it if it's just the connection, but I'll do it. Well, we're going to see, honey. You might be the only one that spoke up. Everybody else, let me know. is the audio matching the video? Because I'll gladly log out and come back in. No, I'm not having any problems. Brother Jumbo, what's going on, sir? Pleasure. Great to have you stop by. So, honey, we're going to rock out. Let's see what happens. But if you guys let me know. If the video becomes raggedy, let me know. Okay. No, you good on? Okay. It's mad. Okay. We're good. Okay. So the majority have it. We'll rock out for a little bit. But if any time, must be my Canadian network. It might be. I don't know about the international connections, but thank you for tuning in from Canada. But yes, what I do when I'm helping the men is that by holding myself accountable, by putting my own dirt out there, I give men an opportunity to come to the table. Because here's the funny thing. When I go to speak in public, I will have a lot of the same conversations you see me address on my page. Men will listen, and men and women enjoy what I talk about. It is when I'm done and when I'm getting ready to leave, men will come to me privately and have a conversation with me. By all means, I appreciate you, honey. And they'll come to me privately and then want to have a conversation. And I get the embarrassment. I get why they don't want other men or other women to see them reaching out for help. I don't embarrass them when anytime a man reaches out for help. I am very open. And because I want men to take that first brave step of, yes, I'm going to get help. That means you're pushing past the negative feelings or weak feelings, that you're pushing past all the other stuff that comes. And then the thing is, now, are you ready to do the work? Because doing the work means you have to let me as the professional guide you. You can't come and want to have a conversation in terms of help and then dictate how I give the help to you. So with brothers, it's a little tougher in that capacity. But I have found that when men open up and they come to the table, we can really start to work and do some things. But I think the dangerous part, especially for a lot of men, is that they're not around other men who will talk about the power of therapy, the power of professional counseling, opening up. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for checking out my lips. I've heard that from women, but hey, if you're a dude and think that way too, hey, do you. I don't get offended by that. I'm comfortable in who I am. But the funny thing is, I always find it funny how the people who will offer those comments don't have pictures. How about that? But anyway, what type of counseling? I do crisis help. I do crisis help, and I deal with relationship issues, as well as getting people to put their lives in order. So I am more of the crisis person. I am the person that you call when you're at wit's end so we can reorganize things. I also do marriage counseling and things of that nature. And I also work with 3 different churches because I also help build mental health ministries. I am located in Delaware. I build mental health ministries. I work with 3 different churches, one here in Delaware where I live, one in Maryland, and one in Alabama. And the churches actually pay for the mental health services. Well, they pay the difference of what their parishioners cannot pay. So often the biggest problem that people have if they don't have insurance, or like in my case, I work with people from out of state, they can't afford to pay me what I charge. So the church pays the difference. Yeah. And that allows me to be able to offer professional services to people, and their church actually supports them. And it's funny how people say, there's no assistance out there. It is. It's just the way you have to shape it. So the church that I work with now, I think I have 8 or 9 members that I counsel. And then 2 people see a colleague of mine. The church in Maryland, I think I see 4. I think it's 4 people and 1 couple. And then in Alabama, I think it's just 2. And I have a couple other churches coming up that I'm going to probably meet in the coming months to be able to set something up, because I'm building a database. So let's see. The way you get into the box is if I see you posting in the chat. You just don't come straight in. We're not making that mistake again. I may not be here that often, but I made that mistake when I first started going live and had some person in the box just making all type of noise and everything. So if you are entertaining in the chat and then you ask to come into the box, I will gladly let you in. But you got to engage in the conversation first. We don't just come in randomly and blind here when you're talking to me. But yes, relationship counseling I do, marriage counseling I do premarital counseling. And then as a Christian counselor as well, I do serve the Christian community, but I do work with secular folks too. I am not one of those folks that's going to beat a person over the head with my Bible. That is the faith that I choose, the path that I choose. That does not mean that everybody is going to see things the same way. So if we would like to go that route, we can. Or if you're a secular folk, let's go. I just believe that people have to be reached where they are to feel comfortable about what's wrong and then have that conversation. Oh, yes, I do everything online now because of COVID. COVID changed everything for me. And having lost over 57 people, my mother included, since 2020, I do everything online. It just makes it easy. Yes, I do grief counseling as well. Because I think one of the things that COVID opened up the door for is that it realized that we not only needed grief counseling, we needed to be able to deal with the fears of the unknown of what this pandemic was. And that was something that I offered to help with. And things grew because that's where I started working more closely with the churches to be able to help their parishioners who were really struggling because they didn't have access to their faith. And of course, I'm always helping folks anyway. And as well as I have the mentor programs for the young adults too. So I try to serve my community in many ways by helping my sisters, helping my brothers, and helping our children, and helping our marriages the best way you can. And what qualifies me to do all that? Well, I don't know if you can see over my shoulder here. I have a master's degree in human service counseling. I have a master's degree in education. I've been married 15 years, but I've been with my wife 22. I am an educator of 22 plus years, retired educator from New York City Department of Education. I am a former investigator for the state of Delaware. And so I have worn hats that allow me to understand people. But I've never traveled too far away from my gifts. And my gifts is the ability to speak to people. And I use that. And I'm a comic junkie too. So I haven't had a chance to go see Black Panther, but I will this weekend. I saw Black Adam, I think was the last movie. And I collect a ton of comics. So and I bowl too. So that is how I spend my free time. But by all means, here in the Q&A, come on and ask any questions. Thank you for being here. If you have not done so, please share with me where you're from. Would love to know who I'm talking to and from where. So just say hello. And if you have any questions, come on. I'm here for the Q&A. I love to engage with folks who come in. Respectful engagement. Let me just say that. So if it's disrespectful, I'll just quietly block you. I'm not going to get into the whole back and forth. That's something I don't do. I might laugh if what you said is comical, like when the brother said my black lips. I was like, okay. I didn't think my lips was that black, but hey. I think they sexy though, but that's just me. But by all means, and if you're at work, don't get yourself in trouble playing around. Memphis, okay. Oh, Memphis RN. Oh, my mother and grandmother were nurses, and my sister's a nurse too. I have a special place for nurses, by the way. And after this last couple of years, we all need to tip our hats to our nurses. Y'all were on the front line of something big. And actually, I counsel a couple of nurses from New York. One was really struggling through the COVID situation when it was at its height in New York because she was literally, she was upset because people were expiring and she was making all this money because of the hours that she was putting in. And she would go home and come back and there was different people in the treatment area that she was working. And she really was conflicted. She felt bad that she was making so much money off of people expiring. I had to explain to her, no, you are a professional. You're getting paid for doing your job. And you're doing a great job because you're keeping people as alive and healthy as possible to give them more time with their family. And you're being compensated because you're a professional. You had nothing to do with the pandemic. You had nothing to do with how people are coming in contact with this, but you are having a great part of the outcome. Don't confuse the two. Yes, it can seem difficult that you're getting paid, but you're not getting paid for the negative. You're getting paid for what you do. And please understand that for everyone, if you're a professional, you're getting paid for being a professional. Now, if you're doing something under the table or you're doing something that's actually exposing people to something that's creating a problem, well, then you got some issues with yourself. But don't ever feel bad about making money for what you do professionally. If you're doing negative things or you're undercutting people to make money, well, then you got some moral issues that might need to be discussed. But that's a different live for a different day. And again, welcome. If this is your first time seeing me, or first time interacting with me, welcome. If you happen to be passing by on your For You page and wonder who this bald-headed gentleman is with this sandy gray mustache and beard, well, I am Keith, grant writer who would love to speak with you. Okay, reach out. Send me a message in my inbox. I would love to. I'm actually working a grant right now. Let me see something here, Lady Royal. Okay, I'm actually working a grant right now with. That's how I'm doing my Okay, I already follow you. Okay, so yeah, you can just send me a message in your inbox. Let's get together. But yeah, that's how they're paying me for my 2 after school programs just through the grant right now. What is the best way to get over resentment? Well, first tackle what you are resentment about. What are you resenting? Like, what is it that's causing you to feel a certain way? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it a situation? Is it something that somebody has gained? Is it something that you don't have? Always address the thing that's creating the emotion. And then we can tackle why that is. Yes, you can pray and read the Bible, but there's actions that have to go along with that. Praying and reading the Bible still requires application. Jesus would preach, Jesus would heal, but the healing was the action. He would preach, he would explain, and then he would go do work. We have to be able to read and apply, and that's super important. Because often we can get so comfortable just reading the word and hearing it, but if we don't apply it, we don't actually get to see it in motion. And I'm an Ephesians 4 teacher, and it's about the actual action. It's about the going out and doing. And I think it was James that said, don't just tell somebody you're going to pray for them. Give them your coat. Give them your cloak. Meaning do. We have to do for folks. Usually secondary emotion, fear is usually the first emotion, without question. Just like anger is secondary emotion. And if the fear comes up, we have to deal with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am in 100% agreement. My older sister passed last year. It's hurting. It's stirred up. Then I lost my mother and sister. Yeah, that's difficult when you have multiple deaths. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is you take as much time as you need to grieve. But what you want to be careful from is if your grieving has started to impact your life that you're unable to go forward. And the thing that you have to remind yourself is you're still here. You're still here and you have a chance to be able to build on. Yes, we're always going to be sad. I keep a picture of my mother right here on my board and I think about it and I look at it. I have a couple of words, but then I push forward because I think about what she would have wanted me to continue to do. And sometimes we have to push past the feelings of the negativity to remind ourselves we're still here and we can still be effective for the people who are here and for ourselves. We cannot change the outcome of the ones we love leaving, but we can live hard for them. We can push forward and say, you know what? They can be a source of motivation, but grieve for as long as you need to grieve until you're ready to get back into the race. Because if sometimes other people can tell you, you're still upset about that, you need to get over that. No. You'll know when it's time to move in a certain position when you start to see the other elements of your life start to dissipate. You want to attack that. You want to not allow that to settle in. And I think that's Felicia. Yes, I pray and I'm a believer as well. And I think that's the thing that we all have to ground ourselves in something, whatever it is. For me, it's faith. Faith is what saved my life. If it wasn't for God and my wife, I wouldn't be here. And I think that's the thing that for each person, they have to decide what that looks like for them. What is the grounding? What is their moral grounding if they have it? Now, unfortunately, right now in the world, morals have seemed to take a back seat to a lot of things, but that's an individual choice. And I believe that we should all have some type of moral grounding that allows us to be able to really feel comfortable in our skins. But we've gotten to some places now where it just seems like the immoral is being rewarded, but we have to resist that. That's a short-term thing, even if it looks like it's in the driver's seat. It's driving to a brick wall, so we don't have to get into that car. So for me, it's faith, but for somebody else, it might be something else. And I respect the something else. I'm not a person that projects my faith. I just explain to folks how my faith works for me. I think that's another thing that people in the faith have to learn. You don't have to project what works for you. Zolo, I didn't see you in the chat. To get into the box, I'm on TikTok often in terms of posting, but I don't go live really at all. Just Fridays. I'll be going on live Fridays. That's it. I really don't like being on live I got work to do actually. But yeah, I'll be on every Friday, 11:30 now, because I used to be on another platform, but I'll be here. But I do post every day, at least 2 or 3 times. I put my post out and then I get my butt to work. Because I think the thing that I try not to do is to get caught up in this. This is nice and this is wonderful, but it has a limit, because you can look up and all of a sudden you spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours doing this, and I don't have 5 or 6 hours to do this. But I do enjoy it when I do come on, and I decided to use TikTok as the platform that I was going to use because I saved the videos. I'll put them on my YouTube page. When the other place that I was at, I would at the time that I was live, would be on Facebook and TikTok at the same time, and so it was automatically saved to YouTube, so I was okay. Here, I'll do it myself. It's no problem. Take me about a good hour to edit the videos or whatever. So, and if anybody has any other questions, come on. I'm here for a little while. We'll see then in the resurrection. Oh yeah, exactly. If you're a believer, you'll see people who are no longer here at another time. Yeah. But the thing that we have to realize, lady, is that if a person is not a believer, we have to find a way to offer them some type of peace of mind that works for them. Because if I tell somebody who's a non-believer that I believe I'm going to see him again, and that person doesn't understand the faith, I could actually be hurting them because I've offered confusion into a situation that there's already pain. The thing that I try not to do is ever increase a person's pain, especially when they're already in pain. I don't bring pain to the table. I do the best I can to avoid it. I have a standing order in my head. I am not here to hurt anybody. If I can't help you, I back away. And I find somebody else or help that person find somebody else. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that compliment. And I think that's another thing too, is you have to be willing to let money go. Because sometimes in focusing on the money, you could hurt somebody. And I have colleagues. I have seen them. Well, not colleagues. I have contemporaries who I have listened to them. And the first thing I say to myself is, but what about the person? That could hurt the person. But I realize the reason why they go away from that is because they're focused on how much money they make. Nothing I can do with that. That's their choice. I personally don't do that because I have a problem with it. And like I said, my moral code is a little bit different, but my past is different than a lot of people's because of how I lived my life the first 37 years. There's just some things I won't do because I know it's a slippery slope back to the guy that I used to be. I don't allow myself to do that. So true. We'll see loved ones on earth and not on earth. Yeah. And that's a conversation. Some say both. Some say one place. But again, that's a conversation that requires action. We have to then make sure that people are still doing what they need to do while they're here. I've already said I do. Do I believe in what you just said? Yeah, I just said I'm a believer. I'm not going to get into a back and forth about the scripture. I can always do that in private. Because again, we have to be careful when we get into a back and forth with scripture that we're now leaving those that are around us who may not be connected to the scriptures out of the conversation. But yes, I'm a believer. Definitely am. It's what grounds me. It's what saved my life. And again, that's the thing that when we share, we have to let folks know that. Now, if somebody wants to know how, yeah, I can engage in that conversation because I was embracing sin. I was everything sin was. I was out here living foul, and I had to find my way home. And it was not an easy road. And often we don't realize that the people who can help us have already been put into place. We just have to be comfortable with getting out of the way of who we currently are. Many of us don't want to let go who we are because we're actually benefiting from the nasty and negative. I'm definitely one of those that you lose if the preaching starts. A lot of people are, because there's supposed to be levels to preaching, right? Preaching is a great way to dispense the word. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing, and I guess this is where, as a teacher, I'm able to make the connection. When I walked into a classroom, I know what I want to teach. I know what I want the kids to be able to get from. It's called SWABAT. What is it that I want the kids? What is it that I want the kids to learn? What will the kids be able to do? Excuse me. And that's something that you actually write down. By the time I finish this lesson, my kids should be able to do, and you put it down, whatever. Okay. But if I go in and go so hard on what I'm trying to preach or teach or whatever, that I don't give the individuals, the children, whoever, an opportunity to decipher it, decode it, and have time with it, you lose them. They actually shut down. That's when behaviors increase inside your classroom. But when you're engaging and inviting and you reach people where they are, now they feel comfortable, because if they don't know something, they will ask. The minute you raise that bar so high that a person feels uncomfortable, they walk away. Same thing on social media. They disconnect. Now, there are times that my message is not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. Numbers have never meant anything to me, because if you change one life, if one person turns off this camera and goes, I like that, and I know that I helped change their life, I did my job. There's a huge difference between teaching, knowledge, and belief. Oh yeah, without question. Without question. Without question. But the more knowledge you give somebody, it opens up the door to a better understanding of if the possibility of belief is actually a real thing. So a lot of times when I'm talking, I don't have to give scripture. I know them. But when I'm talking, I try to make a connection to what I'm saying, to whatever the conversation might be, or to the person. And then all of a sudden, if they want more, they'll come back. If a person wants more of anything, they'll come back. Person wants more food, they'll show up at the restaurant. People like the relationship, they'll show up. People like what you're kicking, they'll come back. You don't have to worry about it. The question becomes, what is the message? And who is the messenger? And does the two line up? I try to, the best of my ability, to be a positive messenger. I try to the best of my ability, to make sure that my messages are clear, that I am clear. And I give people the opportunity to decode it, decipher it any way that they choose. And then I move on to the next message. But how's everybody doing today otherwise? So we still got a few people left here. So again, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, professional counselor, author, educator, speaker, mentor. I wear a bunch of different hats. I am here. We'll try to be here every Friday from 11:30, probably 11:30 to 12:30, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. All depends. I've carved out some time to be here. And this is a Q&A and check-in. So if you have any questions, by all means, ask your question. I will gladly answer it the most respectful way that I can. Or if you just want to check in, tell me where you're from. I've seen Canada in the house. I've seen South Carolina house. We got Honey here. We got Lady was here. I know Sunshine No Rain. D was here. Let me see. Deb was here. Felicia was here. Lady was here. So let me see. That was Deborah. DJ was here. Is that Riz? Yeah, Riz was here. Jumbo had stopped in. Appreciate you. Paige was here. Okay. There we go. So again, I appreciate all of you for taking the time of being here. And I appreciate you taking the time to share and interact with me, because you do not have to. You could be anywhere in the world, anywhere on social media, but you're taking a couple minutes to spend some time with me. I appreciate that. I'm honored by that, by the way. And I have been on social media since like 1994, when I was on MSN and then Yahoo. And then when AOL became a thing, I was on AOL. Yeah. Dial-up. I know I'm showing my age. Some of y'all are like, dial-up. Yeah. Yeah, the little disc. Or if you couldn't afford at the time. I saw you in King's Live and love witnessing you walk with men through some of their emotions. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am always respectful of another person's life. Always. When I ask to come into the box on somebody's live, I always pay homage by trying to bring real talent in terms of my talents to make sure I'm being respectful, one, of the person's live, and that I'm not wasting time. I try to bring something that's going to help somebody. It makes no sense to come on camera and not try to offer something to the conversation or to try to highlight or enhance the person's live that you're on. It's not your platform. Like, I'm not going to try to come into somebody else's platform and try to bully the platform. I will hold my own in terms of conversation, but the thing that I don't get in is to heated debates or arguments, all that. Nah. I do what I can, and if I think I'm going too long, I apologize for going long, and I just simply try to bring a sound viewpoint. That's what I do. Actually, speaking of that, a little musical interlude, because I'm a music junkie. Oh yes, I do too. And I love when multiple of us get together and have conversations, because it allows folks to see how that thinking works. And if the music's too loud, please let me know. I'll turn it down. I'm just a music junkie. As you see on all my posts, there's music on everything. And I'm just digging this song here. I give you my all, and you gave me was your the kiss. How am I gonna do with it? And I'm a junkie for lyrics too. All the love I have to give. Woo. I'm wondering, when you gonna love me? Come on now. And waiting patiently. Yeah, come on. Yeah. I think music is, I used to play music in my classroom when the kids were working on things that didn't have to require real deep thought. Like if they were doing group projects and stuff like that, I would play music very, very soft just to have it in the background. And my students seemed to work with it. They used to give me the business about my old school music. I'm like, I'm older than you. You're supposed to be old school. But I listen to their music too. Sean Millie is an artist of today, but he reminds me of some of the 80s and 90s artists that I listen to. Before he gets too deep in it, baby. So that dude you've been creeping with, tell him you ain't no good before he get too deep in it. Woo. You know how hurt you gotta be that you worried about the next dude getting hurt the same way? That's like Heather Hadley's song that says, I wish I could go back the day before I met you. Do you know how bad you have to have hurt somebody for them to say, I wish I could go back to the day before I met you? I think about things like that. Like, do you know how deep? And as a poet, I think about what it takes to put lyrics together, put words together. Can I get your information passed on to a friend that needs counsel for his son? Yes. Let me see. If you go to my bio and you click on the Linktree link, it'll take you to where you'll see a link that says Discovery Sessions. And that's the easiest way. You can set up a discovery session where you fill out the information and you could actually set up a free call with me. And then we can try to figure out if I'm the person that can help you. So in my bio, always in my bio, on any of my social media sites, you'll see the Linktree link. Just click on that link and it'll say Discovery Call, as well as all my other links are there too, like to my website and to my other social media pages, my website and everything like that. So also you can always do a Google search for me. Like I said, I've been around for a while. And that's the funny thing is, like, sometimes people will act like, I haven't seen you here on TikTok. No, you haven't. That doesn't mean I have not been on social media. I've been around for a while. I'm just not a person who worries about the numbers on social media. I worry about the lives I'm trying to save. You know, and I said that before on another live. Somebody had said to me, I had reached out to have a conversation. I thought something that they were talking about. Yes, I do. I'm actually, the funny thing is, so when you ask that, yes, I do premarital counseling. I am working with a couple right now. I was the young man was one of my original young kings back in 2010. He was one of the original young men in my very first mentor program. And now here I'm doing the premarital counseling for him and his future wife. And I'm actually going to be doing the wedding. I am going to do the proceedings, and I will be their counselor after they're married. Now that to me is full circle. To go from being his dean, his mentor, to now his premarital counselor, will perform the wedding, and then be his post-marital counselor. That to me, that's why I don't stress a lot of things on social media, because to me, that's real life right there. And I'm excited by that. And when I talk to them, and even when they've had little ups and downs, and when they've had a couple, when I see him grown and know that I played a role in that, but yet I'm still here some almost 13 years later, oh man, you can't beat that. And so, yes, I have my online, I have my online ordained ordinance or whatever to do weddings. My wife had talked me into getting it. I wasn't really planning on doing that, but I will be performing my first wedding to 2023. I was asked, so sure, why not? And this is what I do. I am the same way when you sit down and talk with me. I try to be as real as possible because I believe that's what's missing on social media. I don't have to play games. I don't have to dance. I don't have to become something different. Thank you. And that's the part. Just like, okay, let me turn this off. Let me turn the music off so I can focus. 2 weeks ago, in my my mentor group. Now I have kids between the ages of 8 and 12. This is the youngest group that I've ever worked with in my program. And I said to the young man, I said, you ever notice how adults talk much louder and almost scream when you're doing bad, but they don't talk as loud or get as excited when you're doing good? How does that make you feel? And one of the young men, who they dubbed, I don't, but they dubbed trouble. I hate that word, bad kid. There's no such thing as a bad kid. There's misguided children. It's not bad children. There's misguided children. If you don't reach them soon enough, then yes, they go out and do bad things. But children were blank slates. Somebody allowed that child to be filled with that. You then can't blame the child for becoming what somebody else has allowed them to become. But that's another story for another day. So I asked the young man, how does it feel? And he said, it makes you feel like not even doing what's good. I said, really? Explain that to me. He said, well, Mr. Keith, like when you do bad, they yell and scream and they get all upset. But when you do good, they don't really say anything. It's like they don't even care. So why should I do good? And I said, you know what? That's a great point, young sir. That is a great point. And we need to change that. And that's also one of the reasons why I celebrate kids when they do the smallest thing great or good or just well enough sometimes, because they don't hear it enough. And I want everybody that's watching, whether you're on now or you watch this somewhere else, check yourself and ask yourself, am I louder when my child does negative to when my child does great? And when I still do, when I speak to groups of parents, I go, let me show you that attention is sought either from the negative or from the positive. Now, and I will show you what I'm talking about. And I don't have to make up lies. I've been doing this long enough. I have tons of examples, but I'll give you one. A child walks into the room full of adults, full of people. Child, I don't care what age. And that child yells out, I got an A. Some people will keep on talking. Some will go, that's great, and get right back to their conversation. Another child, same age, walks through the door and yells out, F all of y'all. Whole room comes to a stop. Everybody looks. What did that child say? Start mummering. What did that child just say? And he says it again. F all of y'all. Now you got people ready to jump up and beat the child. You know what you just taught that child? That when you're doing good, they're not going to say too much. But when you're doing bad, you can control the whole room. And that is what people have to understand. In my classroom, I don't give negative energy ultra attention. Well, I did. I'm not in a classroom no more. I don't give it a lot of attention. I'll ease over, say a little something, and if I need to talk to you out in the hallway, come on. You're not getting a ton of attention, and you're not going to take the attention of the classroom from me. But when a kid does well, when a kid does something good, I will sometimes stop a lesson to cheer that child on. You know why? Because now I'm setting the precedent. Do well, get rewarded. Do bad, I'm going to act like you don't exist. This is the first time, but I used to watch you on live with another creator. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, I pop in different people's lives. Sometimes they'll call me and ask me to come over. But I appreciate you. But that's what we have to realize. Attention is sought, negative or positive. This app is a perfect example. You will have people that will get thousands of people to watch because of drama. Drama sells. Can you imagine how much we could change the world? Well, they've known it. You got to remember is drama sells. Negativity sells. This is why, what was a corny newspaper? What was that newspaper? What was a corny newspaper that sold all the conspiracy theories? I can't even think of it. It sells. And now that we have social media, now that we have the internet, now that we have everything going on, that's why reality TV took off. It's not even reality. It's scripted. But people like drama because it stirs up emotion. That's to answer your question, honey. It stirs up emotion. Drama always stirs up emotion. Why do you think people slow down to want to see an accident? They literally want to see if somebody's hurt. Now, some people do it because of the fear. And remember, fear and excitement can feel the same way until it becomes overwhelming. I'll give you another example. Honey, you and I could get on a roller coaster. We're going to go up, and that drop down is going to scare us and make us feel the same way in the pit of our stomach. Oh, God, whatever. Now, when we get off the roller coaster, I'm going to say that was the worst thing ever. I'm never getting back on. You may go, oh, my God, I love that. Can we get back on? Because it all depends on how we react to certain emotion. And then if the emotion is rewarded, come on, parents, everybody, every parent watching, what's the first thing we hear? I don't like no spoiled child. Well, how did the child get spoiled? You know why? Because when the child did something negative, they were rewarded. They were told to go to bed. They say no, you gave them a cookie. Wait a minute. I said I don't want to go to bed and I got rewarded. Let's go. I ain't never sleeping. Give me 100 cookies. And so we're the problem. And with the negativity, many of us are scared to turn it off because it's called FOMO. Fear of missing out. All of us to some degree have FOMO. It's the reason why you didn't want to be the first person off the block to go in and then find out the next morning something jumped off. All of that. These are the things that we have to think about. But when you have that under control, when you do not give external things the control over internal feelings, you change the game. I don't get excited by the drama on social media. I turn it off. It's a waste of my time. If I'm on live and it starts to go left, take care, guys. I'm out. I'm not driven by negativity. I've released myself from that because there's no gain for me. There's nothing from it. I don't get into online drama. If somebody comes on and says, hey, you kind of fat, I smile and I block them. I don't engage that. Why? Why should I? How does one shift their desire for chaos? Connect to more positive people, connect to more positive outcomes, but check yourself first. Ask yourself, what are you gaining from the chaos? Replace it with something positive. Remember, there's always a positive balance to every negative thing that's in the world. Give you an example. If you don't like the violence videos that are on, well, there's a ton of positive videos you could watch. If you're not excited by that, then you have to check yourself. What is it that's causing you to be excited by the negativity? And see how you can replace that with something else. What you're reading, what you're watching. Now, it takes a lot. Now, it's not something that just happens overnight because, again, you just don't cut off a steady diet of negativity and think it's just going to go away. It's just like eating. If anybody's of size, you didn't get there overnight. It doesn't disappear overnight. You have to now reshape your whole thoughts about food. Well, it's the same part of the things that are pleasurable to you. Just like me, I was out in the streets running around. Sex was my God for years. I had to replace that with the understanding of the damage that I was doing by out here chasing panties. And I have to address that part of myself that when I was younger, I was abused. So that's why I became hypersexual. So knowing that, I had to address it. I had to get help, professional help. I had to sit with a counselor to realize what happened to me when I was 6, 7 years old. Once I was able to capture that and take it out of the driver's seat, it's still in the car. Don't trust me. It don't go nowhere. It just has no power unless I give it power. So one of the things I did was I stopped going to places that would feed the negative side of me. And I started introducing myself and finding pleasure in the things that were better for me. That's what we have to fight with, is that we have to change what comes in so what comes out is different as well. And it's not easy, especially if you have gained pleasure from the negative. And you see it right here on this app. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Pleasure to have you here. You'll see it here on the app because you will see people go, they feel the need to respond to somebody else. Or they'll say things like, keep my name out your mouth. Really? How do you do that? How can you control what somebody else says? But we'll make 5, 6, 7 videos. And the reason why is because they're literally enjoying it. I read Dr. Phil's book, and he's not a real doctor, right? But every now and then, a poor messenger will have a great message. So what he said was, no matter how negative something is, if you're doing it, then something deep inside you enjoys it. And there's some truth to that. I am great, by the way. Thank you, Positive. And welcome. Where are you seeing me from, Positive? Where are you at right now in the world? I'm in Delaware. And there is something to that. Now, if you address whatever that small thing is that is being pleasured, you rearrange that. Oh, great to see you, California. Okay, cool. 9:25 in the morning out there. Now, what happens is you change the outcome. Once we change the thing that we're connected to, we can change the outcome. But it takes work. And this is why professional help is necessary, because sometimes or often we need somebody who holds us accountable by giving us something new to focus on. A lot of times I'll help my clients with like 5 areas of success, right? Spirituality, their professional outlook, their physical outlook, their mental and emotional outlook, and their social connections. And then I have a series of questions that I ask for each area. And then we look at how they can set up a vision, a goal, a strategy, and accountability. Because you can change you. We see it on a regular. We see people who have reinvented their whole lives. But actually what they did was they carved away things that prevented them from being who they were designed to be to begin with. So they think it's reinvention. No, it's just rediscovery of who they really could have been years earlier. They just fed the other side. They fed the negative monsters in their lives. And if you want a great book, spiritual based, Pastor Max Lucado, I believe the book came out in 2004, 5, or 6. I'm not sure. It's called Cure for the Common Life. And he actually talks about if you want to figure out your life, live your life backwards, and the things that you did fantastic or just out of this world, you'll start to see your godly gift. What is a productive way to help another hold themselves accountable? You can't hold anybody accountable. All you can do is offer what you see and offer assistance. The person has to accept your accountability. So first, you have to be in agreement that they're going to respond to your accountability. Because if the person doesn't respect your accountability, you're wasting your time. So if you say, hey, you shouldn't eat that, and they tell you go F yourself, there's no accountability. But if you two agree that if you see me going in a direction that's unhealthy for me, and you point that out, I'm going, and I respect that, and I change my direction, well, then you're holding me accountable. But accountability has to start with an understanding of a fixed thing that you're going to respond to. And it doesn't always have to be a person. Some people will charge themselves a fee if they don't do certain things. Some people will donate certain amounts of money if they don't reach certain goals. And some is just simply checking on yourself each day. Did I do what I was supposed to do yesterday? Oh, I didn't. Let me fix that. Your calendar can hold you accountable. You put everything like now on my calendar. I protect my calendar fiercely. And when I find myself slipping or I find myself having wasted time, I check myself. What was I doing? That's another reason why I don't get caught up here on social media, because it's real easy. And then all of a sudden you've given away time you can't get back and you didn't get things done. And because I do talk for a living, why would I spend 4 or 5 hours on here talking for free when I got people who need me for counseling sessions and I'm turning them away when they have problems that I should be trying to help with? I can't do that if I'm here on social media. So I have to hold myself accountable to what I say I am and what I'm trying to be more of. So accountability always starts with an understanding. If you and that person have an understanding and they're okay and they're going to allow you to be accountable in their lives, cool. But my thing is, if you ask me to hold you accountable and I do that, or I try to do that, and you push me off or you go, nah, I might go 1 or 2 more times, then I'm going to say, listen, come back to me when you're ready. Because obviously you're not ready because you're not trying to hear nothing that I say. I'm not going to keep throwing the life preserver into the water and you keep tossing it back into the boat. That means I'm wasting time on somebody else who's drowning who would love that life preserver. I'm not going to fight with you to save your life. I will work with you hard to help you save your life if you're going to at least open up and do that work. That's why I said earlier, I think it was to, let me see, who was it? I can't remember. When I said it's about the work. And it's always about the work. And the work is never pretty. The results are pretty. The work is not. But if you can learn to embrace the work, learn to have fun in the work, oh, well, the rewards wreak something beautiful. You're welcome. Well, it's not, you know, the funny thing is, I think people are resistant to hold people accountable, to your point, is because I think people don't want to play themselves. No one wants to be embarrassed. You told me to tell you, and now it turns into an argument. That's why I get at the beginning, like, I need to know what is it that you want from me? And then are you going to listen? That's one reason why we're counseling. Like, I'll have people say, could you talk to my husband? Of course I could. Doesn't mean I will. Because then I'll turn around and ask, does your husband really want to talk to me? I don't know. Well, you need to ask him first. I'm always prepared to talk to somebody. But if the person you want me to talk to is not prepared, then what am I doing? I'm not here to entertain. Like, why would I tap dance with somebody who don't want me to tap dance? Why would I dance if somebody don't want me to dance? If they want to come and dance with me, let's go. I'm here for that. And yeah, it's a shame, but this is the world that we live in. We've reached a point now, honey, where the negativity is rewarded and rewarded well. But we have to be able to fight with ourselves to know that in the end, the positive works out. It has to. If it don't, all we have is chaos. I don't give in to the chaos. I refuse. I refuse to believe that good people are no longer on this planet. And I know it may sound real Pollyannic, so I'm going to sound real Disney right now. I refuse to believe that there are no more good people in this world. I know there are, and I try to be one. Because if we get to that point, we've lost everything. And I'm not ready to give up on everything or everybody. We have to get to the point that we fight for positive interactions and moral ground. Because immorality is at a big point. And when I say immorality, I'm talking about the outright wanting to harm other people. I'm not talking about anything else. I don't get into those back and forths. People start to argue about the way other people live their lives. I'm like, how's that affect you? I don't care what somebody else do with their lives. It don't affect me, but I'll have a conversation if I can see the effect on the world. But we talk. I'm not going to beat you into feeling the way I feel. I think another problem is everyone having a different idea of what is good and bad. Well, good and bad is subjective at best. So good and bad will never be unified. What we can have unification on is respect. I'm never going to see things as good as somebody else sees it because I don't have the same interactions or experiences as them. But if I respect their positioning and they respect mine and we agree to disagree with respect, then good or bad never has to come to the table. Because what's good for you is good for you, and what's good for me is good for me. The two may be completely opposite. But if we respect each other, we find a way to deal with each other with respect. That's all we ever want in the world. I don't care what my neighbor does in their home and outside their home. But if it disrespects me, hopefully my neighbor and I can have a conversation. And if we can come to an agreement that works for both of us, okay. Okay. Because right now, people are hiding behind the good and bad. You got a lot of people who are pointing and saying, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, while not allowing any reverse conversation to come back. One thing that has really helped me is there's no good, no bad. There's just is. Yeah, that just is. But again, respect. Respect is a choice. Respect has a leveling playing field. Because if I respect you, and this is where I mean about the moral part to what we do, morals help bring life to respect. I would like to think that I'm a morally balanced person, so I'm going to respect everybody. And as long as you're not being disrespectful to me, I just do you. As long as you're not putting me or my family in danger, if that's what you want to do for you, I have the option to move away from you. I have the option of turning you off. I have the option of not engaging you. But if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Go right ahead. I can't silence somebody if they want to sing at the moon. Go ahead. Turn into a werewolf, God bless you. Hopefully you remember that we were cool. Don't eat me. But somehow we've lost respect for each other. And we're trying to bully each other into believe what I believe. Or if you don't align with me or my beliefs, now we're at war. Those days are we're supposed to be behind us. So I'm hoping that we can find a balance, but I'm realizing that the way the world is right now, those of us just have to stay on our island and fight it out in terms of just holding our ground. I'll hold mine. I will play this middle for as long as the Lord allows me. I don't need to play the right, the left, any of that. I play the middle because there's something that can be gained from every interaction with every person you come in contact with. I believe that. I teach my daughter that too. Because we got to be able to fill our children with the things that we want to see in this world. Because we're not going to be here forever. And like I said, when a student of mine comes to me and says, can you help me before I'm married? Can you help me make the biggest decision of my life? And can you then remain around to counsel me? That means I did something right when he was 17, 16. I'll take that. I will take that. That means the seeds I planted then. Can you rate my fish in profile picture? All right, let's take a look at your profile picture. I can't see your fish, so I can't give it any rating. I'm sorry. I can. So inconclusive. That's the best rating I could give you because when I press your what's name, I don't know. It looks like a cloud. I can't see your fish, so sorry. But thank you for asking. It is Q&A. What kind of fish is it, by the way? You swear it was big. Okay, listen. I believe you. It's okay. We'll take random too. It's okay. I haven't been fishing in years. But yeah, no problem. But that's what it is. And I think, again, and we also have to get back to just being comfortable with humor. And I can't tell anybody not to be so sensitive, but I just wish people would have more engaging conversations. I don't think we're listening to learn. I think we're listening, and like Stephen Covey says, we should listen to understand before listening to respond. And I think somehow we've only gotten to listening to respond because we're ready to go on the attack instead of taking a second and saying, well, where is Honey coming from with this? Where is Knight coming from with this? Where is some of the other folks coming from with this? And how can I engage that? Or do I even need to engage that? and then making a decision and being okay with it without being disrespectful to the person that you're talking to. Somehow we don't do that anymore. Now everything is short, glib, cut to the point, and that's it. We should be better than that. I believe anyway. And again, I just see the world differently. I see the world for what it is, but I understand what it could be. And I'm banking on that things will change to the positive because I know I'm planting seeds. And in my mind, I'm going, if other people are doing the same around the world, then there should be enough things planted to help sustain change. I watched the movie Interstellar last night. I ain't like the ending, but the premise made sense. I want to go back to help those make decisions that will help in the future. And when the future comes, still be a part of it to be able to say, you know, but again, it was one of those mind twists. It wasn't bad. It got a little corny, but it was actually, I'm a sci-fi movie guy, so it wasn't bad. But it was just the premise. Thank you for the hearts. It was just the premise of I'm going forward to try to help my family in the present, but then I need to go back to be able to offer them a way to be able to secure the future. And then somehow I'm going to end up in the future to be able to look my own child in the face to be able to say, we did it, but now what do I do? So, but there's something to that. We're all interconnected. I wish people would understand that. We might live on different parts of this big globe, but we're still connected. We still need to eat. We still need to be secure, and we still need love. As corny as that sounds, we still need it. Somehow we've lost some of that. But anyway, again, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, professional counselor, author, educator, mentor. I am on and I'll be on every Friday from 11:30 to I'll probably go about 1 o'clock today. And I am here. This is a Q&A, check-in, just a simple Q&A and check-in. If you have a question, by all means, ask your question. Or if you just want to check in and tell me where you're from. Hey, Knight, you asked about your fish, but where are you from, bro? Or young lady, I don't know. I didn't look at your, where are you from? I'm going to not give any gender designation. I don't want to offend anyone. So where are you from? And that's another thing, too. When you come in, please check in. Let me know where you're from. And let's have a conversation if you like. Bring something to the table. If I can answer it, I will. If I think it's a little, well, there's nothing too evasive for me. There's just certain levels that I'll go in certain conversations. But the floor is open. By all means, come on. I'm here for a couple more minutes. Don't forget that I made you, girl. Port Townsend, Washington State. Okay, thank you. I've never been to Washington State. My wife has. I've gotten to California, but I've never gotten up north. Excellent. What's the weather like now? This time of year, it must be cold. It is. Great to have you here. And is that True Queen? Yes, okay. Excellent. Great to have you here, True. It's beautiful here, low 30 with light snow. There's nothing beautiful about low 30, but I'm with you. I like the beautiful part. I'm not mad at that. Me and cold weather, nah. Well, if I'm warm and hey, what's going on there, darling? How are you? Great to see you. But no, I don't do cold weather. I mean, if I have no choice and I got something warm to drink and I can sit and enjoy it, I love the panoramic looks and the scenery. But actual cold weather, nah. Give me the heat, give me the summer, give me the warm anytime. It's easier to cool off than it is to warm up. Baby. There you go, see? Well, listen, I mean, it get a little cold here in the east. I'm in Delaware, but nothing like up north where you're at. Oh, no. And the funny thing is, where I'm at here in Delaware, we don't even get that much snow because we're caught in between two weather systems. One that comes through Pennsylvania and up near the top of Delaware and turns up and goes through New Jersey and New York. And then there's another weather system that comes from the Carolinas through Virginia, through Maryland, and then curves. And Delaware sits just in between both of those. So a lot of times I will see, because my father lives in Maryland, I will talk to him and he's like, oh, we got 7, 8, 9 inches here. I'll talk to my sons in New York and they're like, oh, Dad, we got like 1.5 feet. And we just got rain. And I'm not complaining about that. I'll take that. But where Delaware is situated, we're just in between. And I will take that all day, every day, because I do not like snow. My daughter, we have to dress. She'll go out there, run around in her pajamas. I'm like, if you don't put some clothes on, she want to jump in it, roll around in it. And my dog, he like me. He ain't feeling, I got a little chihuahua. He ain't feeling no snow. Even if it's cold, he go outside. He shake a little bit, do his business, come right back inside. He ain't playing. He ain't jumping around. He ain't got no time for that. And I'm not mad at my man for that. I am not mad at him for that. But so again, everyone that's here, great to see you. I'm here for a couple more minutes. By all means, ask any questions that you have. Now, I posted a video about private envy, right? How many here, let me ask you this question. You guys can answer as you will. How many of you have seen somebody who either does the same thing that you do business-wise or as a friend or whatever, who is being rewarded and they don't choose to help you? Does that get you upset? And does that create a problem for you? Do you ever find yourself getting envious of somebody when you see them being rewarded, yet they don't try to help you or support you in any way? Or do you just let that go? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Because I noticed that I will see some people say, you know what, he or she is doing X, Y, and Z. They could have helped me, and they get real envious or angry about that. And I'm like, but you don't know what they might have sold their soul to get or to do that. Nah. I don't get bent out of shape when other people are being rewarded for certain things and I'm not. And we might be in the same field. We might be doing the same thing. I don't. I separate myself before I feel a way about it. Okay, I got you. I got you. There's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes it's necessary. You know, for me, I don't get emotional at all because, again, I don't know what a person did to get those rewards. I don't ever worry about ancillary, the things on the outside, because I don't know what you did on the inside. I don't know what you gave away. You might have cut everybody's throat to get there. Go ahead and hold that. Yes, I've been there, and I'm a firm believer that who and what is for you is for you. I'm glad you said that, True, and what's the name? The same thing. Close, so same thing, because if a friend doesn't help you come up like them, are they really your friends? Yes, they are. Because they don't have to. They can support you without getting into everything that you do because you don't know what a friend did for themselves to get there. You don't know if they sold their soul to get there. And part of the reason why they may not put you on is because they may say, I don't want to see this happen to them, what I did for me. You won't know until you have a conversation or until you see what it costs. That's why I don't trip. Now, if I ask you to help me and you say yes and you don't, we got a problem. I don't automatically assume somebody that's cool with me is going to help just because. I don't do that, especially in business. I don't do that. Because, like I said, you never know what a person might be, what they might have did. And that's the thing that's real interesting to me. And I've heard some people say, yo, he out here doing this. The least he could have did was. I'd be like, yo, you just have no idea. Let me turn it down just a little bit. Too loud. But yeah, I just find sometimes private envy. I know in some counseling sessions, I've had people say, yo, my friend is out here doing this. The least she could have did was. I said, but have y'all talked about it? No, why should I have to talk about it? Again, if you haven't had a conversation, you don't know what a person is doing to receive whatever rewards they're doing. They might have mortgaged their lives and put everything on the line, and if this don't work, we'll lose everything. You don't know. But if you have a conversation with them, and now whatever they said to you or whatever they offered you and they're not doing it, then you have a reason to get upset. September. You know that New Edition has been performing for 40 years? We don't celebrate them enough. 40 years. Grateful Dead still out here touring. You know? We don't do that. Here, this group has been together since the 80s. And we don't say nothing. Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Brothers in their 50s and still doing it. I remember when they was, well, we all the same age, so. But it's just the crazy part was here they was when I was in college, 85, they had put their record out. Actually, they started in 83 or 82. So almost 40 years later, we just don't celebrate them, but that's completely random. Don't mind me. That's the ADD that I have. Like I said, I told y'all I love music. And then they added Johnny Gill. It was like the 5 heartbeats. They got rid of Bobby Brown. And then Bobby Brown came back. And the album that all 6 of them are together is actually pretty good, except they let Bobby sing on way too many songs. All outstanding talents. But anyway, so yeah, I deal with private envy when I talk to folks because I have seen folks really get bent out of shape. And it hurts sometimes, but you got to be able to celebrate the successes of people that you care about. Because when I hear people say, if it's for me, it's for me, then you got to be okay when it doesn't come to you. Because I hear a lot of people say, what God has for me is for me. Then why are you upset that somebody else had something you didn't get? And I get it, we're human. But I'm just saying, that's the thing that I find interesting. There's no reason to allow yourself to get bent out of shape. Listen, it is what it is. And for me, because I counsel, and of course, due to HIPAA, okay, I'm up in the mountains. I'll see you guys. Okay, True, listen, appreciate you from all the way up there in Washington State. Thank you so much. I'll be on next Friday. Hopefully, if you can stop in, say hi. What time is it? I got about 12 minutes, guys. I'm going to hang out for another 12 minutes, and then I'm going to get out of here at 1 o'clock. I got some progress reports to do. And I'm going to clean up the house a little bit to help the wife out. Actually, I got to find a housekeeper. I've been looking at maids. I got to get somebody to come in to help out because listen, I hate housework. I ain't going to lie to you. Even though I'm home and I'm working from home, I hate cleaning up the house. So I'm going to pay somebody to come in and do the work. I just have to find somebody. So I didn't know. Well, I do know because my wife would normally secure the housekeeping, but I wish I could come up. I'm at work now, listening in. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. But yeah, I gotta. Oh, listen, that's another thing too. The box is always open for anybody that wants to come in, but you have to have offered something in the chat. I've had people come on and want to jump right into the box. Nope, you can't come in. But the box is always open. Anybody want to come in and speak directly? I'm always here for that. By all means, just let me know. I will gladly have you come on up. No negativity here. Well, yeah, don't get in trouble at work. We got to get that paper. Don't get that. So I don't know. I'm thinking about, well, I know Friday nights I bowl, but I'm thinking about maybe late on a Friday evening. I'm not sure. Maybe late on a Saturday evening doing it on a Saturday night. But I'm not trying to really get into a habit of coming on too much. That's not my thing. And again, thank you for the hearts, by the way. Appreciate it. Thank you. I see the hearts going up. I didn't acknowledge those. Thank you for tapping the screen. Let me see. There we go. Thank you for tapping the screen. I appreciate that. And by tapping the screen, you let the app know that you're enjoying what we're talking about over here, which then attracts other people. So by all means, you can tap the screen while you're listening or while you're watching. I appreciate that. I tend to forget that I'm supposed to say that earlier in the conversation. But at the end of the day, again, for the last 10 minutes, if anybody has any questions that you would like me to answer, because this week I've talked about the lines of communication. I've talked about relationships not being 50-50. We need you back on these TikTok streets, all the aunties and uncles on this app. Close the soul. Listen, I was off for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I came back and I literally didn't see anybody that it looked familiar. But I'll still be picking and choosing when I come on. I'm always, I post every day, but I see a lot of the stuff that people are entertaining. I can't get into it, and I'm not going to sit in a box and just listen to people go back and forth with stuff that's just foolish. And I'm definitely not going to sit in a box and have a whole conversation about somebody else who might be on at the same time. That's another thing I don't understand. So two people will be on live talking about each other instead of actually speaking to each other to deal with it. Yeah, but you know what? That drives the app though. That because it's rewarding. People are making money from it. People are getting more attention. And anytime you can get more attention and get rewarded with money, why would anybody go anywhere? Think about it. There are some people right now who will stay on live 6, 7, 8 hours, make $8, $9, $10, $12, and that's cool. But I always say put the body of work up against the body of pay. And you will then start to realize how much time you're wasting. Okay. Let's say a person makes $80 for being on 6, 7 hours, right? Okay. That means you got about $10 an hour, if that. And you're not getting $80. It's pennies. So you get a hot $45, but you were on 7 hours. Come on. That's you wouldn't take a job for that. But you're doing the job for the app for free. I don't get that. But and again, it's attention. Don't get it twisted. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Let's see, I got about 8 minutes. Here's the thing. I want all of you to listen for Ivy. Which Ivy? Ivy passed? Ivy, wait a minute. Wasn't she just on yesterday? Wait. Wasn't Ivy on live just a couple of days ago? Yes. Wasn't she just on 2 days? Wow, wait a minute. She was just on, wasn't she just on yesterday? I could have swore she was on just a day. Was it? Oh, I thought I just saw her on yesterday. Yeah, she posted. Well, I just saw her. I just saw a video from her earlier today or yesterday. Now, it might be older videos. Her and I worked together. She came to me she came to see me and we talked. And actually, she just sent me an email not too long ago and just had some conversation for me. And wow, I'll check. Oh my gosh. My prayers go to her and her family. I know what she was concerned about. So, and that's another thing too. And I will definitely check. Oh, heart attack. Wow. Wow. Okay. Definitely. My prayers go out to her. And I think anybody watching, please understand that there are real people behind these screen names. I happen to be lucky enough to have talked to a lot of people away from this app, so I get to hear and share with the real person. And sometimes I wish the real person is what a lot of people would get to see, but I know a lot of people put up facades because of social media. They don't want everybody that close to them. I don't have those fears, so who this is who I am when you call me or when we talk on the phone and when I'm in a session. Now, of course, when I'm in a session, I'm a little more focused in terms of getting the information so I can help you. But I think when I hear about somebody who's no longer here, for me, what I think about is I pray that they were able to prepare enough for the people behind. Because we sometimes forget that we have to, when we can, make preparations for those that are going to be behind. And I think it was the young lady that just asked, how do we deal with resentment? Because sometimes resentment comes in when we feel incomplete, or we feel we didn't have enough time, or we feel we didn't get to say anything. And anytime I hear, especially when you just mentioned heart attack, I was on live Thursday, June 27th, 2020. when my sister called and said that my mother was in cardiac arrest. And I thought I had turned my camera off, and I didn't. And the whole time I'm trying to help my sister through all of this, the camera's on. And it's a very difficult feeling when you're trying to feel concerned about your mother who's passing, but trying to help your sister to calm down so she can be of service to our mother who is passing. And then I heard when the ambulance was coming, and then they were working on her, and then my other sister got on and was talking. And again, the whole time, the camera is on. And then they took her to the hospital, and then my partner called me back and was like, your mother's no longer here, all within about 12, 13 minutes. And I think the thing that was difficult at the time was the idea that I was here and I could not be of any service there. But I don't allow that to beat me up because there's nothing I could have did if I was there. I could have comforted some folks, which is what I do. But it doesn't mean I could have changed the outcome. But what I did was I learned from it. And I'll give you how you take the positives from a situation. First, you have to accept you have no control over death. We can try to prolong it. We can try to push it back. But we have no control over it. That's the first acceptance. That's very hard. The second is when you replay a situation like I do, there were no wins for me there because I had already asked my mother to come and live with me here. Now, I'll be honest with you. I believe if my mother had left with me in 2016, I believe she's still alive. But that's just a belief. There's no factual part of that. So when I replay the reality, my mother went on that day. So the only thing I can do to honor her memory is be the best son that I can be. Hold that memory. Use that memory for motivation to be better. But another thing that I took from it, I went to go look at the video. And I realized that I was very calm while helping my sister, while trying to get her to give me information about what's going on with our mother. So I think it was 60 something people on that live, which means 60 people got to see that when I say I'm a crisis specialist, I really am that. Because they got to see me in the midst of my own crisis. And I didn't break down, I didn't wild out. But when I went back to look at that, I realized that I am a crisis specialist because I know how I deal with my own. And I am transparent when I'm dealing with somebody else's crisis. And that's how we can take positives, glean certain positives from negatives that we may not want to deal with. But if you look, there's things that the elders, that if you believe in God, if the creator, whatever you believe in, there are things that you can glean from every negative situation that can help make you better. And the best one is you're still here and breathing, which means you have a chance to become better. So I'm sorry to hear that Ivy is no longer with us. I will go check out her page, but I have her personal information and I will send an email, and hopefully the family is still checking her email, and I will send a personal condolence. I know some of the things that she and I shared. I wish I could share it with you, but I cannot. And that's why it makes it very difficult because I have insider information. But just like stocks, they put you in jail, you start trading insider information. That's not what I do. When somebody has a counseling session with me, I have ethics. And so no, I will never share what is spoken in a counseling session. Only if the person gives me permission. In this particular case, she did not. So my prayers, okay. I'll check it out. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That gave me something to think about. It's going to give me some motivation to try to help more. I'm glad I had okay. I'm glad that her and I had the opportunity to share conversation. She gave me a very glowing recommendation after she had her counseling session with me. No. Don't be sorry. No. Don't be sorry. Listen, this is a part of the game. This is a part of the walk. We were not meant to finish the race with everybody that we started with. This is why people come into our lives at different points. That's why we got to try to absorb as much of the positive that we can from the people that we connect with. Oh yeah, she did. And she said, dealing with my crazy self. And I said, you're not crazy. Trust me. But that's the beauty of the interaction for my Christian brothers and sisters when it says people come into your lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Those numbers decrease. You may have people coming in and out of your life for reasons on a regular. You may have some people only come for a particular season, and you might only have one or two who travel your whole lifetime. You must appreciate all. The ones who come just to say, don't go there, and then disappear. The one who might get on the bus and go, oh, here, I got that extra quarter, and then disappear. And then you got some folks when you might be in a season of despair, or a season of happiness, or a season of reconstruction who help you through that, and then you don't see them again. And then you got the very few who travel with you through the different time periods of age, from younger to slightly older, to a little older, to older, until goodbye. So no, don't be sorry. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. And I will, like I said, I'll send out some type of message to her people and to just say, I'm sorry that, you're going through this, but if I can offer something to help, and we go from there. For me, I think the best thing with this is I know her last, from what I saw, her videos had smiles. She didn't have smiles before she reconnected with her relationship. Her last couple of months seemed to be filled with smiles. I'll take that. I'll take when anybody can give the appearance of happiness. Because if you're unhappy and giving the appearance of happiness, you're doing it for two reasons. One, you don't want other people to not worry about you. And two, you want other people to go ahead and be happy. So you hide your unhappiness. And to my mothers that are on here, you know what that's like when you have children. And as fathers that may be here watching, we know what that's like when we're around the brothers. We may be tore up inside, but we will act like everything is okay. And so, no, when we get bad news, it's how we process it. And so, no, I thank you for sharing that with me. It just gives the day a little more refinement. And, it doesn't take away my happiness. I'm still as giddy and everything else. Speaking of that, let me get back to this new edition thing right here. There we go. Come on. Yeah. But like I said, those last couple of months, just seeing a smile, nothing wrong with that. So come on, rock out with me. And I know sometimes when hearing about other people who's no longer with us, I know that can trigger some of us here. And if anyone feels triggered or anybody feels emotional because it might have caused them to think about somebody that they no longer have in their lives, you're going to be okay. Put a purple heart up if you're thinking about somebody that's not with you right now. Come on, let's rock out. Somebody put a purple heart up for me, for my mom's, but in September. Thank you, appreciate you. Because this journey is a long journey for some, a short for others. But there's going to be highs and lows all the way through it. And we got to take them all, the good and the bad, and enjoy it. Thank you. Appreciate the purple hearts. And that's the thing, is that, this app, like all apps, I don't give this app any more credo than the other ones. Social media. Hey, how we doing? This social media, one of the positives, sometimes I feel like death is everywhere because there are so many hurting. It may seem that way, but there's 8.4 billion people on the planet. So loss is always going to radiate differently. But for every loss, there's somebody being born. For every loss, there's someone achieving something fantastic right now. There's somebody that is in that last scene of Pursuit of Happiness when Will Smith comes out and claps his hands together because he's so emotionally happy. We just don't see that enough. Thank you. We just don't see that enough, so we tend to focus on the negative. See, I know the positive is out there. I know the happiness is out there. I'll give you an example. And Thea just said it. Here we go. See, I know somebody right now is out here listening to some music, and the world is a great place. And that's how we have to look at it, that we have to accept the negative to know that this is out there too. Because if we get stuck in the negative, then we lose a part of who we really are. Yeah, I'll take that. Now I'll go back to. And again, I tell you, I'm jonesing on Sean Millie. So y'all be like, he playing this song again? I'm one of those weirdos. I'll listen to the song like 100 times. But loss is part of it. And I think the hardest part about loss is the disconnect. It's not like you had a chance to say, like, very rarely, very few of us get the chance to be with somebody who says, I'm leaving. And because of that, when we hear about it, it's automatically a jolt. Simply because a friend of mine in Florida, I wrote the wedding vows for his wedding. He said, you're a poet and I'm not really good with words. Can you write something for my wife? I said, man, just speak from the heart. He said, I'm too nervous. So I wrote his wedding vows for him. So years later, when he was suffering from cancer, I remember talking to him on the phone. And, you know, my biggest thing was just keep fighting, bro. Just keep fighting. So the last night, we're talking on the phone. And I was like, how you feeling, man? He said, I'm tired, Keith. I said, well, get some rest, bro. He said, no, Keith, I'm tired. The light went on. And I said, you really tired, bro? He said, yeah, man. I said, ain't got no fight left? He said, I've been fighting, bro. I just... And then he asked me a question that to this day is actually an outstanding question. He said, don't I have the right just to be tired? Can't I just say I'm done? And I said, yes, you do, bro. You have the right to say you're done. I said, are you at that point right now? He said, yeah, man. I'm tired. I can't do this no more. I said, okay. Call your wife into the room. Call your kids into the room. And tell them goodbye. Because when you're tired, you're tired. And the thing that I love is that I had a chance to share that with him because of the love we have for each other. So him saying he's tired wasn't a bad thing. It was actually a great thing because we got to share that as friends. And anytime you have the opportunity to go to high school with somebody and actually elementary school together, and then 40 years later, almost 40 years later, be there when they say goodbye, for them to tell you that's it, and you be a part of that, that's never a bad thing. So these tears are not of sadness. It's because when I think about it, you don't get that with everybody. We don't, and that's what makes when people depart so scary to us. We don't know what's on the other side. And it speaks to the weakness of what many of us feel. And so all of a sudden, it's like, what do we do? So for me, oh man, it was just the idea that my partner actually said to me. When he asked me that question, don't I have the right to be tired? Yes, you do.
That'll save you a lot of money.
And then when his wife got on the phone, she said, we're going to take it from here. I said, I know you will. I said, we good to go. And I was like, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to hang up because I didn't want her or them holding a phone while they shared the last couple of minutes with their father, their husband, their love. I had my moment. And I think it was about 11 o'clock. Yeah, 10:38 to be exactly. And then she called me in the morning and said he rested, and then later on that morning, he called it quits. And when you stop and reflect, this is why reflection is super important when you reflect on the positives. When I look at the fact that we were in elementary school together, I left, came back, we had 1 year of high school together, and then I think a couple years later is when he reached out to me about, let's see, that was 85. So I think like 90, we got together in 90 when I came back for the reunion. So I think it was like 95. And he asked me to write the vows. So when you have that many years with a person, nothing better than that. When you're there, when they reach the finish line and know that that person went the way many of us would hope to go, which is in the care of our family and the ones that we love, that's a good thing. And the fact that I got to share that, I'll take that. Because I didn't get that with my mother. And these are the things that I do when I'm working with people, is to try to find that positive, that balance, that makes sense, if that makes sense. Because often what gets us is the confusion. What gets us is, how do I deal with, and also it's the loss, it's the not having that person available to us anymore. But I think that's where, if we build a strong enough infrastructure, we have other people that we can lean on. Like, I have a tremendous wife. I have friends that I can lean on. But also, I taught myself how to be that for other people. That's what I do in my practice. That's why I can't worry about the negatives, and I can't engage in the negatives, because you start to engage with too much negativity. Yes, of course. There's it right there. But that's the key. And that's the key. Like, when God asks us to be still, it's because once he downloads what he needs us to get, we then know. I'll give you an example. And I'm glad you brought up that scripture, because I bring this up all the time. If you go and read the story of Lazarus, right? I don't mean to preach anybody, but hang in there. I'm going somewhere with this. Mary, they had sent word out to Jesus, hey, come, your friend Lazarus is not going to make it. Jesus told the disciples, my man Lazarus is sleeping. They said, that's a good thing, because he's sick. He said, no, he's dead. They said, what? He said, yeah, he's dead, but he'll be okay. So when they showed up, Lazarus' sister, Mary, and him said, we called for you 3 days ago. Where were you? Your friend Lazarus was alive then. We called for you. How come you didn't come? And she was emotional. So it said Jesus wept after he saw her. He then said, come on, let's go. You believe? Yeah? Come on, let's go. And I always share, folks, that after Jesus cried, he went out and performed a miracle. Many of us stop at the crying. We don't go out to look to perform the miracles. We don't go out and try to find a miracle. The miracles come after the tears. That's why I said trouble may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. The blessing comes later. And it's hard when you're in the midst of the pain. It's hard when you're in the midst of the loss. It's hard when you're in the midst of any type of negative reflection. But if you take a minute, there's always something positive that you can glean from every interaction that you had with anybody that you came across. There's something to be learned. So I am praying that Ivy had all her affairs in order and that her family had their moments with her. I'm hoping that she wasn't in too much pain at the end. And again, I will reach out and offer the family what I can. But Chloe, I thank you so much for bringing that to the table, because we need to have these conversations too. And don't let my tears, listen, I'm a big, solid dude, but I'm in touch with my emotions. I cry all the time. I do. Because I'm okay with being emotional. Actually, I enjoy being emotional. Nose get all stopped up. Eyes get all mushy. Look at this. I like a gigantic panda. Like a brown panda. But that's the key, is that if we don't allow others to share in that with us, that is what closes off the gap. We have, yeah, I do. I like a big raccoon. Yeah. But when we open up and we allow ourselves to be connected through our pain and pull ourselves past our pain, not only do we form deeper bonds, we gain deeper understanding. I'm all for that. And I try to live that. I had a good cry a few days ago after I heard her spirit was, yeah, she had a wonderful spirit. And the thing is, it was, yeah, like I said, I can't get into too much. You're right. And that's the thing that's the thing. Hey, Closet Talk, how are you? How's everything? That was something that she was working hard on, but a lot of things fell into place before she left. And I'm glad, because there were a lot of things that she was concerned about. And I hope, I haven't had a chance to speak to her, I hope that all the other things that she was wanting was granted to her from the Most High. So, but I thank you for sharing that with me. I'm glad that you gave me that information. Like I said, I will go over and pay my condolences. But for everybody else watching, first of all, thank you for being here. And if this is your first time here and you're wondering who this sexy brown panda is with these swollen eyes, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, professional counselor, author, educator, mentor, speaker, and today, weeping willow. But I am a person that is here to try to solve problems by helping those who I come in contact with. And it is my goal every time I turn on a camera, every time I come online, or when I'm in the presence of others, to bring some type of positivity to a lot of crazy that's going on in the world right now. So, and I thank all of you that have been here. I thank all of you have stayed. Those of you that have popped in and out, I appreciate you. If this is your first time seeing me, thank you. If it is not, thank you. And if you like, I ain't never coming back here again, well, thank you for being here for the time that you were here. We even got a fish question. Who asked that fish question? What was my man's name? I got to give him a big shout out, or her. I got to give them a big shout out, because they just asked me, how do fish look on my page? That just took me, I was like, okay. And I couldn't even see the fish. Yes, we even got a fish question today. And I'm all for that. If I could have saw the fish, I would. Actually, they asked me to rate the fish. I couldn't see the fish. Woo, Brother Fredericks, what's going on? Graphic designer extraordinaire. Y'all want to see some quality graphic designs? Check out Brother Frederick, one of the best in the game. And actually, I had the pleasure of working with him at one of the schools that I worked at in Brooklyn. Great dude, great with young adults, and an outstanding talent. Make sure you check out his page. Make sure you check him out. Yeah, I've come across some really great people, some really dope people. And that's another reason why we have to really stay open to people that we meet, especially on social media. Don't let it spiral down to the negative. Don't let it get down to the guttural parts of our personality. That's easy, believe it or not. But to be open and inviting and engaging in conversations that are not sexual of nature, violent of nature, and all those, there's some dope people that's been popping in and out here, man. I hope some of y'all will check them out, and I hope that y'all will interact with each other. And again, I thank you all, and thank you for tapping the screen. Hey, we got 6,000 likes. I will take that every day of the week. And I think there was a few gifts that popped up early. I appreciate those too. I didn't know what those were at first. I used to just wonder what all these colorful things popping up on the screen was. I didn't actually know that those were real gifts, like people was granting you gifts. I had no idea. And thank you for that heart that just popped up. Somebody touched the screen. I didn't actually know what those were. And somebody said, oh, KL's raking in the money. I was like, raking in what? I have no idea what you're talking about. I had no idea what it was. Amen. There we go. But yeah, I just, listen, this is what it, actually, you know what? Come on, Kim. Another underrated R&B crooner. Oh, no, thank you. I'll be on every Friday, 11:30. I'm going to commit to doing that. It's actually on my schedule now because, like I said, I was banned on the other app. And I didn't say anything. All I did was make a historical comment, and they silenced me for a whole month. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm done, because I would come on weekly. So then I said, you know what? I've been spending a lot of time here on TikTok. I said, you know what? I'll just do it here. And so I decided to come on here. Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, wow. Appreciate that. Listen, I bring to the table my experiences. And hopefully I move somebody or touch somebody. But Code of Soul, thank you. And yeah, even in the other spots when I would come on, the goal was always to try to offer something. I believe you shouldn't come on camera if you're not going to try to feed those that are watching, because it's not about you. Your name is now. There's nowhere to hide. All right, we're going to rock this song out and we're going to get ready to get off. So anybody has any other questions before I get ready to get off, before my man Kim sings us out today, check me out on Force Power 20 Gotham and Nights. Send me the information in my inbox there. I would definitely see what I can do. What is that, or where is that? Let me know. Or just send me the information if you can. Appreciate it if you can send it to my inbox. Let me see. Do we follow each other? Let me see. Okay, I followed you, so now you can send it to me. There you go. And you can send me the information. Again, anybody else that's interested in the way that I counsel, all right, I got you. All my information is in my bio. You just click on my link, my Linktree link, and where it says Discovery Session, that's how you reach me if you want to set up a free discovery session. First call is always free because I may not be the person that can help you. Why would I charge you for that? So we can jump on a call and see. And if not, come by my page. I try to create videos that are uplifting. Or also, I'm taking donations for my mentor programs, because I do mentor young ladies and young men, my young kings and my young queens. So I'm getting them some things for Thanksgiving, but the way it's looking, I'm going to have to give them the gifts after, because they're out of school this coming week. But when we come back the following Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to present them some gifts that people have donated. And as I told them, every donation that comes in, I use for them, because I feed them every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm in Delaware. I'm in Dover, Delaware. So my program is in Newcastle, actually up in Bear, but I am in the state of Delaware. And actually Dover is where my business and everything else is, and so we're good to go. And this is what I do. And every dollar that comes in goes back into either shirts for the kids, food, because we feed them, get them a little pizza. I only see them once a week. I see the guys once a week. I see the girls once a week. So we always get them a little something to eat. We make sure they have t-shirts. I'm setting up a bowling trip. I want to rent out a movie for them. Oh, yes. Thank you for virtual. Chicago, Chi-Town. I've never been to Chicago. I've been to most of the major cities in the U.S., but I have not been to Illinois. Have I passed through Illinois? No, I think I did. I'm not sure. But no, I have never been to Chicago. Actually, I have a lot of friends, and actually a friend of mine who bowls is there as well. So I have to put that on the list. I'm not going when it's cold, though. I don't do cold. I just talked about that earlier. And Chicago is legendary for their cold. I'm good. I'm not doing that. I've been as close, I think, Michigan. I've been to, of course, Ohio, but I haven't made it to Illinois. So, and of course, the West Coast, I've been to a couple of the states. But again, guys, I want to say thank you. And again, if there's anything else, any other questions before I go, anything else anybody want to drop before I leave, and if nothing else, hey, if you enjoyed today and want me to come back next Friday, which I'm going to do anyway, but put a 1 in the chat. Let me see some ones go. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's put let's go with red hearts this time. No purple hearts. Let's go with some red hearts to end the day. Tap the screen as you're putting the red hearts up. And we're going to get ready to close out and be out of here in about 2 minutes. Okay, so put a red heart up and just tap the screen before you go. All right, get the likes up a little bit before I leave. I'm not big at promoting and pandering. I got to learn that. People tell me all the time, but I don't be thinking about it. I don't do that. People tell me to put up the PayPal. I'm not doing all that. I have a PayPal for the donations for the kids. I don't really come on and try to solicit anything else. I don't need anybody to give me any money for anything but the kids, and we go from there. So you don't have to pay me to come on and have a conversation. If I'm going to be on, we're going to talk. So put a red heart up for me before we leave. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone that was on. And Claude, thank you so much for the information. I will go over and pay my respects to Ivy's page and to her family. Okay? All right. So I think that's it, guys. Listen, it's been a pleasure. I will be back next Friday. And we'll see. We'll go from there. All right? I want you to have a wonderful day. It has been my pleasure. Again, I look forward to hearing from some of you. We will talk. God bless.